ABC 10 News at 11 starts now.
It's finally here, opening day at Petco Park. We are just a couple of hours away from first pitch in what's expected to be a big year for the Padres after some major off-season moves. And for the first time in over a year, they will be playing in front of a home crowd. Thousands of fans in and around Petco Park this morning to take it all in. Of course, the pandemic means things will be a little different. Limited capacity and new rules are in place to make sure everyone enjoys that game safely. We will have more on that in just a moment. Hi, you guys. Thanks so much for joining us this morning. I'm Virginia Chun. You can see I'm joined remotely by my co-anchor Jim Patton, and we will be hearing from Jim in just a moment. But first, we want to update you on some breaking news this morning. A deadly house fire erupted in Mountain View, killing 3 people. And within the past 10 minutes, investigators said they now suspect arson. ABC 10 News reporter Natay Holmes has been at that scene all morning and tells us firefighters had to force their way inside.
The battalion chief says the 3 individuals were found near the front of the home. By the time firefighters made their way in, they were badly burned, and all 3 died shortly after. This is video of the scene when crews arrived. You can see the large flames and smoke coming from the home. Firefighters got the call around 6:15 this morning. San Diego Fire and Rescue says neighbors heard screams coming from the home. They tried to help but couldn't get to them. Firefighters had to force their way in, but it was too late.
Anytime that we come to a scene like this, our firefighters, there's raw emotions. We have families, and the feeling of us arriving and trying to help somebody and having that much smoke and fire to contend with and then try to rescue them. Our firefighters are taking it really hard today. This was a big loss for the neighborhood and the San Diego Fire Department.
The family dog was the only one that made it out. It was taken by the San Diego Humane Society. The battalion chief says the home did have bars on the windows, but they can't say if the bars prevented them from getting out. He recommends that if your windows have bars, to make sure there is a safety release on them. At this time, there is no word yet on what caused the blaze, but fire investigators are looking into it. Natay Holmes, ABC 10 News.
We just want to give you a little better idea of where this happened. Now, that home is in the Mountain View neighborhood near the intersection of 38th Street and Franklin Avenue. For reference, that area is right between Mount Hope Cemetery and Ocean View Boulevard. There are still a lot of questions about exactly what happened. Of course, we'll stay on top of this investigation. You can find out more and get the latest updates through our 10 News app. Sky 10 over Petco Park earlier this morning. Isn't it beautiful? Things will, of course, look a little different there today than usual, with safety top of mind as fans head to the stands for opening day. We have team coverage for this big day. Crews spread out all over East Village this morning with everything you need to know about today's game, pandemic changes at the ballpark, and what could be a huge season for the Friars. Leading off our coverage today, 10 News anchor Steve Atkinson and sports director Ben Higgins. They're joining us live from Altitude Sky Lounge, which is atop the Marriott Gaslamp. Steve, I got to say, that may be one of the cushiest seats around for the game today.
I would have to say, if you can't be in the ballpark, Virginia, this is probably one of the best views here at the Altitude Sky Bar high above the city right now. I'm joined here by Ben Higgins with me right now. Of course, we're 6 feet apart. We've both been vaccinated, which is good to know as well. But, you know, everybody's looking forward to this season, and I think so many people are just so excited about what's going to take place here.
I've been talking to fans. I mean, the anticipation is like nothing I've ever seen, Steve. I'm one of the few who actually got to go into some of those games last year with no fans in the park. It's going to be so exciting to see people in those stands out there today. And the players are more excited than anyone. They miss having people there cheering for them. That's why they do this. So they're really fired up for today's game and this season to get started.
It's going to be a long season, but everybody's looking forward to it. Game 1 of 162 to go, so we're all looking forward to that. Today's season opener is only going to have about 8,400 fans inside the park because we're still in the red tier. 10,000 if you count some of the people who are going to be sitting in the outfield. It is tough to get a ticket right now. It will be that way for quite some time. But if you're lucky enough to get in there, you need to know about some of the changes. A lot of changes to keep everybody safe. Our 10 News reporter Jared Aarons has more on that.
If you plan on taking yourself out to the ball game this year, bring a mask. They're required at all times inside Petco Park. And if you want to buy some peanuts and Cracker Jack, bring your phone, because the old ball game is taking advantage of new technology.
We don't want to jeopardize anybody's safety. Safety is our #1 goal.
With safety in mind and a pandemic still going on, Petco Park has gone touchless, digital. Tickets, concessions, games, there's an app for that.
You know, it's really actually a fun time for us because of the technology age and what we're seeing in restaurants across the board in the city. We're sort of having to bring that into the ballpark.
The MLB Ballpark app will be the only way fans can scan their tickets, order food, grab a beer, and interact with the game. It's designed to keep everyone in their socially distanced seats, limit interaction between people, and keep the virus from spreading.
We've been off the map for some time now with this pandemic.
Padres CEO Eric Grupner says there's no manual for how to allow fans in and keep them safe. But they're not swinging blindly. Extra cleaning, sanitation, and safety will follow all MLB and local guidelines. And even though they'll start the season with a lot of empty, blocked-off seats, he's hopeful capacity can increase as San Diego moves into the orange and yellow tiers.
We're doing our best, but we're also having to do some things that you don't normally have to do and doing them for the first time.
Souvenir stands will be open at 25% capacity. Otherwise, fans are discouraged from wandering around the concourse. But the Padres say the team on the field and the thrill of the game will provide the usual Grand Slam experience.
We're known for America's #1 ballpark, and we want to keep that going. I'm not going to let that title up anytime soon.
A couple other things worth noting. Outside food and drink is not allowed this year, with one exception. Everyone can bring in one small water bottle. And if you want to bring a bag, it doesn't have to be clear, but it does have to be little, about 4 by 6 inches, or the size of a fanny pack. At Petco Park, Jared Aarons, ABC 10 News.
So we really have all been through this for about a year now in this pandemic, and everybody's just trying to get used to the fact that we're having to do things either at home or together. So this is a fan experience, Ben, that we're all trying to take in. If you can't get in the park, which most people are, but everybody's excited about this team.
Oh my goodness. I mean, you've probably been hearing the hype, even if you're not a Padres fan, for the past few months. Maybe you say, I'll believe it when I see it. But at least on paper, the experts agree this roster is the best the Padres have had in their 53 years of history.
When the 2020 Padres season ended with a playoff loss to the Dodgers, Padres fans immediately started dreaming about 2021 and seeing even more from superstar players like Fernando Tatis Jr. and Manny Machado. And even if the Padres had simply brought back the same roster, excitement would be through the roof. Instead, owner Peter Seidler and general manager A.J. Preller spearheaded the most aggressive winter in all of baseball, taking some big chances while other teams were playing it safe.
People talk about risk. What people don't so much talk about is the risk of doing nothing.
The additions included a pair of trades to acquire all-star pitchers. The first arrival was former American Cy Young Award winner Blake Snell, who didn't allow a single run during spring training. The second was last year's National League Cy Young runner-up veteran Yu Darvish. Both agree that the Padres roster is loaded.
I think we all know how good we can be.
I'm trying to find out that all these guys have really nasty stuff.
The Padres still weren't done, adding a third starter and former Grossmont High School star Joe Musgrove, along with the best player in Korea, infielder Ha-Sung Kim. The moves added tens of millions of dollars in salary, and that was before the 14-year, $340 million extension for Tatis. But what really makes this Padres roster exciting is not how much money everyone makes, it's how much they all love playing baseball and love winning.
I think the most important thing is we have a team with guys that, they play 100% every game. So when fans come to these games, they're not getting cheated on anything.
So the drive is there, the talent is there. The question is, can they put it all together? We'll find out the answer to that question over the next 6 months. Jim?
Yeah, the deal is looking pretty good. Ben, thank you so much. You guys look great out there, by the way. Should be a lot of fun to watch this year. The area around Petco Park, of course, buzzing. From the team to the return of fans, a lot to be excited about, as Ben just said. ABC 10 News reporter Marie Cornell is up at altitude as well with Steve and Ben. Marie, how's it going?
Hey, Jim, it really is a different feeling down here in downtown, just a different vibe where you are seeing the Padre fans in their gear celebrating the return of Padres baseball.
As the sun came up at Petco Park, a new type of energy filled the stadium.
Yes, you had crews getting the field ready, but it's the excitement of the fans waiting to get in that really stood out.
Hey, go Brown and go home.
And Stephen Ames came all decked out with glove in hand and actual cleats that a Padre player wore during a game. He says it's been a long year and a half away from Petco Park, and he wanted to be the first one at the gate, anxiously waiting to see this.
Just a fan reaction. The players, the crack of the bat, the home runs, Slam Diego, baby.
Not far from him was Daniel Valle, who was waiting to get into Bubs at the ballpark.
It did suck sitting at home and not being able to come to opening day. I've made every opening day at Petco Park since the beginning, so last year was the first one I missed.
And he's hoping this season the Friars take it all.
Yeah, last year we got the little cake. This year we're going for the big cake, like Tati says.
And it wasn't just the fans. When I was at the stadium, I saw the staff as they were getting ready for today's game, and they were all very excited to be back at Petco Park. Reporting live from downtown, Marie Cornell, ABC 10 News.
It's just so much fun to catch the buzz, Marie. Thank you. And to hear Slam Diego again, how fun is that? So much going on with opening day today. We have a lot more to come this hour. In the meantime, 10news.com has you covered, an entire section devoted to the Friars. Test your Padres knowledge with a quiz. Take a look back at the history of the team's uniforms and much more. It's all under the opening day section on 10news.com.